He shall regard, this is important, he shall regard neither the mighty one of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any Elohim, for he shall exalt himself above them all. A very important verse, I repeat. I'll go part by part. He shall regard neither the Elohim of his fathers. So it can be seen in different ways as one person who will not follow the Elohim, which is the obvious part, the Elohim whom his fathers taught him. Yet it can also be seen as the fact that he would have part of Israel, yet he would not worship Yahweh. He would worship the entity that those who rejected Messiah have been worshiping. That's pretty much the point. He doesn't worship the true Elohim, that of our father Abraham. He worships the one who took in today's society that role, like the Elohim of this world. So it says, he shall regard neither the Elohim of his fathers in the Hebrew, and over the Elohe of his fathers he won't regard or give understanding, or he won't have understanding. Then he says, nor the desire of women. The desire of women can be interpreted in several ways. One can be the regular homosexual ways of nowadays. He won't care very much about women like many men in nowadays. But in the spiritual sense of what that meant in the Hebrew cultural sense would be the fact that back in the day, since Yahweh said that he would send Mashiach through a woman, then women were hoping, expecting to give birth to Mashiach. So the love of women was the hope for Mashiach to come through them. So when it comes to a man not having the love of a woman, is like the fact that he won't have the expectation for Mashiach, because he himself will claim to be and will put one to fool the other people who are expecting, for instance, Jesus. So the fact that he has not the desire of women is the fact that he won't be expecting a Messiah, because he will want that role, is because he most likely will be homosexual, even though like many homosexual guys do nowadays, they do have a wife to act like they are straight so that they receive the acceptance of the people. So that's just to know how it would be in his heart, in his mind. But the most important part is the fact that he wouldn't be expecting Mashiach. Like the woman is the bride, the wife of Mashiach, so the woman is waiting for Mashiach to come. So back in the day, women wanted to give birth to Mashiach, but now the woman represents the congregation who is expecting Mashiach to come to take her as wife. So the fact that he does not have the desire of women means that he is not expecting for Mashiach. He does not want Mashiach. He wants the role of Mashiach. Then it says, nor regard any Elohim, for he shall exalt himself above them all. That's why the beast is the representation of Samael. Samael was the one who thought to be the only one and the one who was above all the angels, because they came from him. That's why the angels were called Bnei Elohim. The fact that the beast will do this is to show that it is the manifestation of Samael as a human. For what has been determined shall be done. No, I already said that. For he shall exalt himself above them all. But in their place, and that also happened with Nimrod. So that's why Nimrod is a representation of the beast. But in their place, this is important, but in their place he shall honor the Elohim of fortresses. But in their place he shall honor a Elohim of fortresses, a mighty one of fortresses. So instead of the Elohim that the world commonly worships, with the names that they worship and all of that, he will worship one which is different, called a God of fortresses. Some connect this with Allah. Some say that this would be Allah, so that he would have an inclination to Islam. But for instance, there is a book which is I believe is very important, one of the Gnostic books which they took out of scriptures, or that should be in scriptures, in which we read about Samael. When Samael was taken out, Hillel was put on the right and given authority. When Samael claimed to be the only one, he was taken out, put on the left, and on the right was Hillel, and he was given a light. That's when he started being called Hillel. But when he was given authority, he became the mighty one of fortresses, according to a book of the Gnostic books, which is not within the books of the scriptures. So it's interesting that it is the same name that appears here. So this name only appears this time in the entire scriptures, only once. Yet it is the same name that is used in another writing, the Gnostic books, as a name that was given to Hillel, Lucifer, a name that was given to Lucifer. As I have said, Allah is pretty much Lucifer, even though it has some connections with Samael, because it depends on the doctrine. And even in Islam and Judaism, there are many different doctrines, just like in Christianity. So as we see in Revelation 13, the beast, the world leader, even though it is the representation of Samael in the sense of what each Satan did and why they fell, the beast, who is like, has the mouth of a lion, speaks like the dragon, because it is the dragon that gives the beast power, according to Revelation 13, to both the first and the second. So it will be the Elohim of this world, it will be Lucifer, Hillel, who will be given power to the beast. Yet his manifestation will be just like Samael when he fell. So Samael was pretty much like a shadow of what the beast will be. Hope that's understood. Even though the beast will receive power from the dragon Hillel. That's why it says here that he acts like Samael by putting himself above all Elohim. Yet he honors the Elohim of fortresses. But in their place he shall honor a God of fortresses. That's verse 38. It says, Mauzim, Veleila Mauzim, of forces or fortresses. A mighty one of forces is to whom he will give honor. A mighty one that his fathers did not know. So it says, he shall regard, already said that, but in the place he shall honor a God of fortresses, and a God which his fathers did not know. He shall honor with gold and silver, which is a way to honor fortune, the God of fortune, which in Hebrew is just God. Isaiah 65:11 says that Israel left Yahweh for God, for the fortune. So it is interesting to see here that he is honored with gold and silver. Yahweh is not honored with gold and silver, even though people try. So, but in their place he shall honor a God of fortresses, and a God which his fathers did not know he shall honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and pleasant things.